name is Marty Strong. I'm the CEO of Warriors Haven USA. It's a veterans foundation that focuses on vocational training for veterans. And today I have with me Guy Gravino, a longtime friend, 32-year veteran of the United States Special Forces, and an all-around good guy. Great to have you.
Oh, thanks for having me, Marty. Thanks.
So we're going to work with wood today, and we're going to build something for Guy's kitchen. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learn something from it also. So what we have right here is 2-inch by 3/4 inch wood. We have it in walnut, cypress, and cherry. And we're going to take this and convert it into a wonderful gift for Guy and for his family.
For my new kitchen.
For his new kitchen, because he just moved into a house recently.
I just got a house. I was on the streets earlier.
He was not on the streets. No, he didn't need this job. He's doing this for free. He's a good guy. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to let Guy go ahead and design this the way he wants to. I will assist while he's laying out the pieces of wood in the pattern that he wants for the board, and then we'll continue on and show you how we're going to assemble the rest of the board until we have a finished product.
All right, thank you. Earlier, we took this box of wood with these 3 different types of wood, and we laid it out in a pattern, and then we laid them up here so it would be easily laid out here for you to see. So what we did was we're going to take the first piece of cypress, which will be laid here. We're going to try to keep it square by using the edge of this table. Then the second one would be a piece of this cherry. We'll go up next to it. And we're going to lay that out even with that table. And then a piece of walnut. And continue.
And I will help you with that.
Okay?
Because you are old and I don't want you to get hurt.
Too late. The pain is already real.
I knew that. I was just baiting you.
Okay. Okay, you can see the pattern here now, right? See how it's consistent with light, medium, dark. Everything's uniform, you know, military guys. All right? And we're going to lay it out all the way across. And then we're going to do a roller, apply the glue with the roller, and then assemble them, and then clamp them. Okay, let me bring it back here, make sure it's all square.
And when we forgot to mention, we're going to try to do all that without hurting ourselves.
Good. Okay, here we go. Now, what we're going to do is we'll have a couple extra left over. And what we're going to do is, you see these edges here, we're going to box them or put a border on them so you don't see them, and then take another step and putting like legs underneath it so you can get up underneath it and lift it. Okay, put something on that. Make sure we get it nice. Okay, good. All right. Good.
Why do I have the feeling this is not your first cutting board?
Because I'm special.
I knew that. I definitely knew that.
Okay, so voila, it's laid out. These guys here will be used, these 2 are going to be used for the borders.
This will be used
for the legs.
Basically railings to help hold the cutting board up off
So you can get up underneath it to lift.
of the cap. All right, there's the container with the glue.
All right. Time for slopping.
There we go.
Let's keep it under control.
So Guy and I weren't always, handymen in the wood shop. Once upon a time, we were running the roads in Iraq. We were a little bit younger, a little bit dumber. We were a lot dumber.
A lot, yeah.
A lot dumber. And we weren't focused on woodwork at the time. But Guy and I think, on several occasions, found ourselves being shot at, dodging rockets, and looking out for grenades, and still having a good time and laughing about it.
My biggest problem, since I was an admin, was paper cuts. They were deadly, painful, and every now and then I wanted to go ahead and get shot at. You don't want these moving. Well, this is a little stickier than I thought. So be more liberal than I am right now. The problem is you don't want to go down in between the boards. Although we do have a planer and sanding capabilities afterwards for removing any of the slop. But you don't want the slop. You know.
That's an Army acronym, I think, that means planning. SLOP. S-L-O-P.
Kind of like the mess hall. You know, when you go. Yeah.
So I know this looks like we're professionals and that we've been trained to do this. I spent 20 years. I spent 20 years in the Navy SEAL teams. Guy spent 32 years in the Green Berets. They didn't teach us any of this. They didn't even talk about wood or shop or doing anything. So what we did, like most people, is we wrecked our first 3 or 4 homes, doing it ourselves.
DIY.
Yeah, DIY, learning it the hard way, and spending a lot of money, not so much on material, but on gas, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to different stores. But see, now we're older and we're wiser. So we're doing it safely, and we're doing it smartly. And we even have a slot. A simple plan.
Yes, it's very simple. Get somebody else to do it. Like one of you guys. These are great projects that are doable for folks that just got out of the military, that are looking for things to do, looking at transition stuff, things that Warriors Haven is all about. By doing these, you're not running out to the store or hanging out in the bars like we would be doing sometimes. You're learning skills to improve your lives.
So when the guy's not here working with us, he's a talented Uber driver.
Your pizza's going to be late if it was today.
And more specifically, Uber Eats. So he will go get the food for you, but he'll
probably eat it before it gets there.
He's not going to bring it back.
Whoa.
That was good. Good catch. So when you were in the Army Special Forces, how many rollers did you carry out of combat mission?
Well, the standard issue
Standard issue.
was 12. You never knew when you were going to have a paint job to do.
So once he goes through covering most of the wood with the adhesive, he wants to make sure that every spot that you might have missed is covered, because these are going to be placed against each other, and eventually they're going to be clamped so that the pressure allows the glue to do its job, and then we'll end up waiting for that adhesive to dry, and we'll go into the next phase of creating the cutting board. You're very energetic. You like this.
Mm-hmm.
Some over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just point out all the things you didn't get.
Marty was an officer.
Oh, yeah, well, I was enlisted first, and then
I stayed enlisted swine to the end.
he was. All the way to the end. So one of the reasons why we do this here at Warrior 7 USA is, besides building things of value, is it gives us time to talk, tell stories. Veterans share stories that sometimes they can't share with other non-veterans. We laugh a lot. We like to make fun of each other. We like to make fun of ourselves. And it's cathartic. It's therapeutic. And all those things are good for veterans and actually good for all of us. So even if this thing didn't turn out perfectly, which it will, but if it didn't, it would be a great story, and we'd end up telling somebody about it someday. Okay.
Pretty good.
So now, Guy has had the time to go ahead and put adhesive glue to one surface. Now what he's going to do is he's going to start matching the surfaces together in pairs, all the way down until he has pairs across the entire cable. Then he's going to go back and glue the unglued surfaces and repeat that until eventually he has the entire chopping block glued together and ready.
Is this what we talked about?
No, it was.
I'm sorry.
It was in the slot brief.
I wasn't paying attention when you were
It was
talking.
in the slot brief.
Here we go. So we're going to flip one up like this,
Mm-hmm.
and take this one with the glue end on it and flip it up like so. Bite them. Take this one, same way, flip it up. Take this one, flip it like so.
Making sure that the edges line up on one side. We can do a little planing and sanding, a lot of things later. But right now, we want to try to get it, make it a little bit easier down the road.
Okay, then we're going to take this one, bring it over, keep them even on the ends as best you can. There's a little bit of discrepancy on the cut, but I'm not throwing stones. You saw the way it was glowing. Okay.
So while guys doing this, I'll tell you a little story about us. Right after 9/11, Guy and I were out of uniform, and we decided we were going to try to help by getting contracts to look at different terrorist threats at American infrastructure. So we were trying to go to a conference in Washington, D.C., and we had the really, really early version of a navigation system for our car. And for about 3.5 hours, we were lost in downtown Washington, D.C.
Misoriented. We were
nowhere near where we're supposed to be. Driving in circles, starting to run out of gas, starting to worry about a lot of things. And then we figured out what was going on, and we eventually ended up where we were. Fast forward to 2004, Baghdad, and Guy was tasked with picking me up at the international airport. He picked me up in a bunch of armored vehicles and proceeded to repeat the Washington, D.C. experience, wandering all over Baghdad for the next 2 hours. It was only about a 15-minute trip, but it took 2 hours. So some things never change. That's the point of the story, and I'm going to stick to that.
I like to put a little addition to that, a little appendix to it. We were given incentive by an M1 Abrams at a spec fort that said, get the hell off here. And then when the main gun swung around, we decided to take the tourist route.
Yes, the 2 hour trip.
Linear target to the left, up and down 360. Let's go.
The law of gross tonnage is a good rule, whether you're in the military or not. And M1 Abrams definitely wins the fight. So there's more to that story, but I was inside of this armored vehicle. I didn't see much. I was rattling around in there, hearing a lot of shouting and a lot of backing up and spinning around,
And some crying.
And I didn't have a sandwich or a box lunch or anything. I was just sitting there wondering what was going on. Every so often, guy would poke his head down from the turret. You doing okay? We're almost there. I didn't say, whatever you say, Dad, but that's what it felt like.
Okay. We're going to put 3 on there.
Okay. So now what Guy's done is he's turned each of these sections over and compressed them in the pattern that he originally designed. And he's going to start gluing the surface again. And we're going to keep repeating this. Here's
my groove. The groove. The magic groove.
So what was the toughest thing you had to do as a Green Beret? And don't say, make sure you had some money in your pocket after payday. I mean, what was the toughest thing?
No, I always had money in my pocket. What did I? Toughest for me? I don't know. I just kind of love the whole thing about it. I don't know. I like the schools. I guess the probably as a great GB, I was probably going to dive school was probably pretty tough. A little tough was going to dive school, but I spent. I had about maybe 4 years in the Army before I went. I was at the 82nd Airborne, and then they got me off to recondo schools early, and that kind of helped get my mind right quick. And that was back in January '76. I am old, and I guess nothing really was that difficult after that. Once you had it, understood it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there who are watching this probably have the same thing, same thoughts.
So one of the hardest things for us to do when I came in SEAL team was getting a school. Because we didn't have any money in the early days. And the Army had all the cool schools. They had the skydiving schools, they had the communication schools, they had all kinds of different schools. Language schools.
We did the best we could to keep them out, and they kept coming.
Well, they had the money. They've been around for a long time, obviously, 1776, and they weren't very happy to let Navy people in. So I went to some really fun schools. I went to Morse code school, where I sat in a booth and listened to da 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 for like four weeks, trying to learn how to read Morse code and send Morse code. Nothing very exciting about that school. I went to Army Jump School, which is kind of interesting. First time I ever jumped out of airplanes was at the direction of the United States Army, Fort Benning. Did you go to Fort Benning?
I did.
Jump school? They've changed around a little bit for special operations, but back in our day, you had to go to the same schools, and I spent my time at Fort Benning, and then moved on to SEAL Team 2. But I agree with you. The schools, the training, everything was interesting. Everything was new and different. And, lock picking school, just all kinds of interesting stuff. How to tear apart, put together an outboard engine. That'd be one school. Then you go to a photo intelligence school and learn how to do night photography and how we used to develop our own pictures and learn how to do things with that development to blow them up and do different little tricks. We had to learn a lot of different skills, both in the Green Berets and the SEAL teams, because they never knew how they were going to use this and what the job was going to be.
Hold the piece.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I'm not going to slough up this table too much.
And I thought being dyslexic would actually be a problem. It's not. It's not a problem at all.
You got a lot of practice with it now.
Yeah. Easy for you to say.
Okay. Okay.